Okay, so we're going to start off this haul with the ready-to-fly version of the Mantis 85. This is from Banggood, and it comes together like this with a FlySky i6 transmitter. And you can see here that it's already bound to the transmitter and has very simple instructions on how to get this in the air. So if you guys are looking for a ready-to-fly micro model, say you've been flying some tiny whoops and you don't have a transmitter, so obviously this is going to add a hobby grade transmitter to your collection. You're looking for something that has one of these transmitters and ready to fly out of the box. This is going to be one of those models, and I'm not going to unbox it in the haul here. I'm going to do it in that special video. It's going to be directed towards beginners that don't have a transmitter and are looking for a model with a transmitter so that they can get up in the air and start flying a little bit bigger models here, like those little micro brushless versus, say, one of those toy grade drones that a lot of people start off with. So I'll have a video on that later, so stay tuned for this video. Okay, I got some frames here for the micro whip build that I'm going to be putting together. So a brushless micro whip. It's from Beta FPV. So this particular kit comes with two frames. So you get one to build on and a spare. This is going to be for the Omnibus F3 brushless board, which is basically a 4-in-1 ESC plus a flight controller and an OSD, and it's going to be in here. This is very similar to the frame that the BWhip B06 is built on, but this is actually the Beta FPV Beta 75 Pro, and uses the 07, 05, or 07, 03 motors with the 41mm propeller. So I'll be doing a build with all those components later down the road, so stay tuned for that video. And for that build, I'm going to be using these new G&B 1S LiPos. This is a special one. I think this is the high volt version. So this is the high volt version of the 1S 450 LiPo that G&B makes. So this should give you a little bit better power at the beginning of the flight. Okay, so I also picked up one of these 1S Omnibus F3 boards. This is for another 1S brushless board, a little 4-in-1 ESC flight controller board, 5 amp ESCs. Okay, so this is what you get. You get the board itself, you get a little micro buzzer and a battery connector. This is the 2mm connector for 1S LiPos. That'll work also with the G&B battery. So the board itself here is a Omnibus F3 target. It's got a Betaflight OSD, F3 processor, and 4 5 amp 1S ESCs. You can see very small little ESC connectors here along with a USB port. And you get a small regulator here on the back. Very tiny board, and I think this is a 20 by 20 size. Okay, so I just got the new Sidewinder frame in from Tomo Quads. This is a 2.5-inch ultralight build, and so you can use an all-in-one camera or a CCD camera, but it's basically for 2.5-inch props and an ultralight build, I think for 2S, and this is what the frame looks like. You can do either 16 by 16 or 20 by 20 stacks, and a variety of different motors. You can 1102 all the way to 1104 if you want to go for a power. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do right now. Probably going to do like an 1103 10,000 kV motor and like a 20 by 20 stack. Not super light, but not like super powerful either. It's kind of in the middle of the road, and I'm going to try and use a micro CCD camera in my build. Okay, so this is an onboard DVR for drones, 30 by 30 boards. It goes into your flight stack. It's got a little microphone here, a micro SD card. The video is inline, so video comes in from the camera and then goes out to the video transmitter. It says it's low latency, so we'll have to see if that's true or not, but because it did advertise it as a low latency DVR, I did want to try and check it out and see if the video quality recording is any good and if the latency is any good. If it's bad, then probably I'm not going to recommend this, but I believe the reason I chose this is because it does record in H.264, not in motion JPEG, which a lot of other DVRs do, so that's probably another difference I want to check out. And I got some new motors in from BBB. These are the 2207 2650 kV. I heard this is one of the best 22.7 motors out there. And like all other BBB motor packaging, very, very nice here. Looks like you get 2 sets of prop nuts. And I think these are the screws, and they come in gold colors. Pretty crazy. The packaging is pretty nuts. So I'll just leave it in the packaging here. You get nice, pretty nice long motor wire. Looks like it should reach most 4-in-1 ECs on a 5-inch build. And you got an open bottom design here. Very, very tight tolerances on the magnets, and those look like they are curved magnets. Pretty thick magnets here. I heard these motors have pretty good power. You have a set screw on the bottom. And here they'll look at the windings on the inside. I really like the design of the motor, very open on the top and the bottom, so airflow should be pretty good, and also should be pretty good in terms of heat. And this is the M3 screw, pretty nice. And I do like the fact that they give you 2 prop nuts per motor, so if you lose one, you'll have an extra. Okay, so we got some new UX2 antennas from Real ACC. These are the Axie 2 clones, and it looks like they have some smaller tops here. They were pretty big before. These are with the MMCX connectors, and we have a straight and a 90 degree. And as you can see here, this is the stubby version for an SMA connector, and it looks like they've reduced the size of the antenna. Obviously I don't know what the internals look like, but this looks much smaller. It's like half the size. This actually looks more like a Axie. The Axie size is about this size. This is actually pretty big, so it's kind of nice that they're going to a more normal sized clone here, and this one will definitely fit all of the 3D printed TPU holders and stuff you see out there. This one will stick out a little bit too much. It's too big. But it's nice that they have the MMCX connectors now, and they also have ones that have the micro FL connectors, but I think those are going to be phased out in favor of these MMCX connectors. These are better connectors. Okay, I got another micro video transmitter here from EWRF. I don't know exactly what the model name is. Links in the description. Basically, it's a 20 by 20 board. This one has the output for smart audio and comes with a micro FL connector. Single button operation with an LED on here. Yeah, so it should go pretty nicely with your power stacks that don't come with a video transmitter, so it will be a nice addition. Okay, so I picked up some more of these GNB 550 3S LiPos, and these actually came from Gearbest. I've been getting these from Banggood, but for some reason they no longer ship to US anymore, and I think there's a lot of restrictions on getting LiPos now through the mail, so if you're looking for another source for these 550 3S LiPos, this will pretty much work with all your 2-inch and 2.5-inch micros. I think these are my go-to batteries for those sizes. And if you're looking for another source, I would check out Gearbest. I'll put a link in the description for this one. I think it's also pretty reasonably priced as well. Okay, so here we have a micro FlySky receiver from Happy Model, and you can see it's a little bit bigger than your typical micro receivers out there, but it's got the dual diversity antenna. This has telemetry back to your FlySky transmitter. So those of you guys that fly the i6, not sure if telemetry works with it, the Evolution. Haven't tested it out yet, but this does send information back to your transmitter with this little telemetry module right here. It's a little extra chip. And here's a closer look at it. You have the receiver here. You have some cables. Obviously, you're gonna have a cable that goes from here to this little sensor module, and then it'll go to your flight controller. But you can see here you have a an extra pin you have for your telemetry, and then you have your iBus power and ground. And we got 2 antennas here for dual diversity, and the antennas are soldered on to the board here with a little bit of hot glue securing it on, so no micro FL connectors. Anyway, I'll have a separate video on this, and I'll have more details in that video. Okay, so this is the new micro power stack from GEP-RC. It's called the Stable F4. It comes in a variety of different versions, F3, F4, 12 amp or 20 amp BLHeli SESCs, so you get D-Shot 600, and also comes with a 48 channel video transmitter. Pretty nice packaging here. You get some instructions on the back here on how to use the video transmitter. And you get a little QR code here for your PDF download for the manual, and you can see here we got a 3-board system, 4-in-1 ESC, F4 flight controller with an OST, and then you got your video transmitter here. It's a very nice stack. I believe this is the exact same one that was in the GEP-RC Hummingbird plug and play or bind and fly model that I tested a couple weeks ago, but I believe that one only came with a 12 amp 4-in-1 ESC. This is a 20 amp 4-in-1 ESC. Okay, so we got another micro drone here. This is the Aurora A100. So we got another little micro brushless drone here. Looks like we got some pretty small motors. So these are the Ladybird 55mm propellers. So you get a 1S LiPo here, 600 milliamps with a micro low-C connector. And this one is based on a Sunny Sky 0705 motor at 15,000 kV, so a pretty small motor, very lightweight. Got some countersunk screws on the bottom, so the bottom is flat. Kind of wondering why they went with the micro low-C instead of the PH 2.0 connector. This one comes with a FlySky receiver, and you get a single board here. It's a 1S board with 4-in-1 ESC, 5 amps, and a Betaflight OSD. I think this is an F3 board, I believe. And then you get an all-in-one camera with video transmitter. I think it's under 30 grams. This should be a pretty nice performer on 1S. So we'll see how this flies in the review later. Okay, so I got a couple of new frames in from Catalyst Machine Works. I got the 4-inch America frame, very lightweight, fast build for 4-inch props, and then I got the massive droner. This is for 2.5-inch props. Anyway, just a quick look at the frame. I'm going to actually have an actual frame review for this at some point pretty soon, so you get close-up details in this one, but a lot of parts in the bag here, so I'm not going to take everything out. And then here's just a quick look at the America 4-inch frame, very skinny arms, and it's meant for like 1407 or something of that type of motor. And then this is the TPU pod. This is actually sold separately, but this is recommended that you actually get this with the 4-inch America frame.